This is the FM Gold channel of All India Radio. In the program News Analysis, now we bring you a discussion on clean energy and gas-based economy. The participants are Dinesh Saraf, Chairman, Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board, and M. Rajendran, journalist.
India is moving towards a gas-based economy. Currently, the share of gas in the country's energy mix is just over 6%, and the aim is to reach the 15% figure, while the world average is 24%. Over the years, the government has put thrust to promote the usage of environment-friendly clean fuel, natural gas, as a fuel feedstock across the country to move towards a gas-based economy. Accordingly, development of city gas distribution networks has been focused to increase the availability of cleaner cooking fuel, the PNG, and transportation fuel, CNG. The expansion of CGD, which is the city gas distribution network, aims to also benefit to industrial and commercial units by ensuring uninterrupted supply of natural gas. It is a new and challenging area, not only from the fuel consumption point of view, but also environment protection. As per WHO database released as recently as May this year, India has 14 out of 15 world's most polluted cities in terms of PM or particulate of 2.5 concentration. Large number of industries also consume polluting fuels like PET coke and furnace oil, which emit polluting carbon dioxide. Some of the courts recently ordered for banning use of PET coke in states within the jurisdiction. Mr. Saraf, how do you see the overall scenario for clean energy in India?
The clean energy is very much required, and it is required not only for economic reasons, but also it is required for environmental reasons, which you have already elaborated. And it's a matter of concern for all of us that we have the bad distinction of having 14 out of 15 most polluted cities globally. We have to remove this, and hundreds of thousands women and children, they die, especially in small places, villages also, because of domestic pollution. And this domestic pollution is because the kitchens are run mainly on cow dung cakes and on firewood. So it creates very bad pollution in the houses, and the women have to go very far areas for collecting the wood also. So not only it takes time, it creates pollution also in the houses. So we have to correct this, and natural gas has got a very important role in achieving this. And I will also tell you that Honorable Prime Minister in COP21 convention in Paris in November 2015 has committed on behalf of India that we would reduce our carbon emission by 33% to 35% by the year 2030. And if India has to achieve this, again natural gas has got very important role into this.
Over the years, the government has also taken very strong initiative, and this report of May 2018 has changed. A lot of cities have improved the polluting particles in the air. That's one aspect. How critical is the role of regulator in increasing the city gas consumption, which is also going to bring down the pollution levels and other things, which is interrelated?
First of all, I very much dislike the term as regulator, because we see our role as not as regulator but as facilitator, and that's what we have been doing for the last 1 year. And I can tell you, because of the change of this perceived role within ourselves, we have completed the 9th bidding round within a record time. Size of the 9th bidding round was also very large. Just to give you a sense of the size of this, there have been many geographical areas which have been authorized by Petroleum and Natural Gas Board from 2006, and even before it came into being by the central government. They all covered about 20% of Indian population. We have completed the 9th bidding round, and in this 9th bidding round, the total population coverage on a single round is 24%. Which has taken the total population coverage to about 46%. And not only that, we have been working with the authorized entities to know what difficulties they are facing and how we can work together to remove those difficulties. We have also launched the 10th round, which the Honorable Prime Minister launched yesterday, and the population coverage in the 50 geographical areas which we have identified is 24%, and taking the total population coverage after the 10th round gets completed to 70%.
Sir, two things I would like you to elaborate for the benefit of the listeners. when we say city, does it include only cities? One. Two, when we say bidding, can you take us back as to why this whole bidding thing began?
First of all, the word city is a misnomer in the term CGD, city gas distribution. It not only includes city, when it started about 25 years back, we perceived that it would be only city. That's why perhaps this term has come, but it's not city, it's the smaller places, it's even up to the villages, and the gas would go even to the villages. So city is first of all misnomer. And how do we decide on this? We decide not based on the tariff, not based on, and it is 80% weightage we give to the commitment of work which the bidding entities they make, out of which 50% we give to how many number of domestic connections they commit. So the higher the commitment on domestic connection, which we call PNG domestic, higher weightage they get. 20% weightage we give on number of CNG stations, which is compressed natural gas stations for the purpose of transport vehicles, and 10% on how much pipeline within their own area they would lay. And a small percentage of 20% is attributed towards tariff. So this is the bidding parameter. For example, then I tell you that how it was pursued by the investor. For the 86 areas which we put on tender in April 2018, we got 406 bids, and out of which we have selected 86 bids, 21 companies, and out of which 8 new companies are there and 2 even foreign companies have participated. And we never anticipated that we would be getting such an enthusiastic response from the investors, but we have got it because now the investors have got very much confidence that the regulator also would work along with them to resolve their problems.
Sir, it's a common sight. Long queues of vehicles standing at stations to fill up gas. When do we see what is the aim that where, I can go and get my gas filled in my vehicle and just move away?
We have taken up the matter with all the existing players, and they have also responded quite well into this, and they have changed their business model of establishing a CNG station, and now the number of CNG stations which these companies they have, they would not increase, they would multiply. And we expect that within a short period of time, the number of CNG stations would increase and the queues at the CNG stations would reduce. And they have been taking the use of various technologies. They have been studying that why there are queues. Like, for example, the queue, one study showed that it is because cash payment takes a lot of time. So now they have started accepting cards which are specially made by them, or having a specific cash counters. So many steps have been taken by them, and I think situation would improve.
We spoke about the bidding. You, as a regulator, changed the bidding parameters from tariff to the coverage of city gas supply. What was the thought process behind it?
Thought process was that infrastructure should come, and if the infrastructure is there, for example, you just raised the issue of long queues. So if the infrastructure comes, I think the market would develop, and that's what we want. And what we have also done, that we have given marketing exclusivity to the successful bidders for 8 years. So that means for 8 years, they would have a virtual monopoly. But we feel that they would, as a responsible corporate, their pricing would reflect that. And within 8 years, they can recoup major portion of their capital expenditure. And after that, competition would kick in, and any new operator can also come into the same area and compete with them. And one more thought process was there, though we increased this marketing exclusivity period from 5 years earlier to 8 years. We thought that even during this period, they are not having a monopoly status because they have to compete with petrol and diesel. They have also to compete with the LPG.
How has been the response for the bids? You mentioned about even foreign companies showing interest. But we also believe that there was a good number of players who shown interest over the previous bids.
If we talk of the previous rounds, all the areas which were put on tender, they were never taken, everything. But in this round, 86 areas we offered. All the 86 areas, people showed interest. And for about 10 areas, there were 10 plus bids each, 406 bids, as I told you. And the total commitment of infrastructure is 2.2 crore of domestic connections, 4,600 numbers of CNG stations, and 1,16,000 inch kilometer of steel pipeline.
Oil marketing companies and small companies are also getting involved in this process. Does it bring in a good competition, a good market competition, and does it get reflected in the tariff which the end consumer will pay?
Oil marketing companies are participating in this, because they feel that it would ultimately replace, to whatever extent, the petrol and diesel. It would replace the LPG. So to protect their market share in totality, they are participating in these bidding rounds, and rightly so. And smaller companies are concerned, we are very happy that even the new players are adding into, and the smaller players itself, would make the system accessible for everybody.
I have a small data. I would like you to give us an insight into it. Natural gas as CNG is cheaper by 60% as compared with petrol and 45% vis-a-vis diesel. Similarly, natural gas as PNG is cheaper by 40% as compared with the market price LPG, and market price of PNG almost matches with that of subsidized LPG. This is based on the Delhi metro price. There was an interesting sample which was also mentioned. An auto rickshaw owner can save up to 7,000 to 8,000 on his monthly fuel bill by conversion from petrol to CNG. Thus, even on the cost front as well, natural gas is preferable to petrol, diesel and LPG. So does that answer why we should go with full thrust on natural gas?
Yes, we should go for natural gas because of all the economic reasons which you just narrated. But it is much more than this. It is because of the environmental reasons which I stated in the beginning. There are also equally important reasons why we should go for more and more natural gas.
We discussed about the health, the environment issue. Health is a major concern, sir. Particularly because of the rising pollution, people suffer a lot because of that. What is that a regulator can bring in along with the players, the stakeholders, to not only sensitize them but also to make them more responsive to helping resolve this problem?
Ultimately, the people of India have to respond. It's not only the regulator and not only the entities which have got these bids. And we are telling all these successful entities to go to the households, use different channels including social media, and make people aware that how natural gas can resolve the problem of pollution in cities, even in smaller places. So they would be doing this, and I think if we have more and more awareness, people would respond by shifting from the conventional fuel to natural gas.
As a regulator, sir, what are the challenges you feel this sector faces?
The biggest challenge which we are likely to face is implementation. Because as I said just now, 2.2 lakhs of PNG connections, 4,600 numbers of CNG stations, more than 1 lakh inch kilometer of pipeline. These are all numbers. Whether all this infrastructure would be created and what's the guarantee? So we have built into our regulation, into the tender condition, that how it would be ensured. So we have adopted a approach where we reward the well-performing entities by increasing their marketing exclusivity from 8 years to up to 10 years. That is on one side. And those who do not perform well, we have got measures, punish them, even terminate their authorizations.
Has adoption of this been an issue in terms of people adopting this?
This is definitely an issue, but we don't see as a challenge, because the 60% and 40% it is cheaper with respect to petrol and diesel. So that itself should take care, and the good marketing strategy by all these entities may perhaps make the people respond well.
And sensitization,
Sensitization would definitely help. Even if the sensitization doesn't work, people would definitely see that how much economic benefit I'm getting. So it is the twin effect of sensitization towards the pollution and environment as well as the economic regions.
Sir, it looks we are on the right path. There are economic and there are environmental reasons that why we should go for clean energy, and hopefully the path which the government has taken and the regulator has been supporting it, we will achieve the ultimate goal. Thank you, Mr. Saraf.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on clean energy and gas-based economy. The participants were Dinesh Saraf, Chairman, Petroleum and Natural Gas Regulatory Board, and M. Rajendran, journalist. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. This program is also available on our website, newsonair.nic.in. You may email your opinion about this program at airnsttalks@gmail.com.